or get a really good job. And at 18 years old, I got involved into the insurance industry, and I learned a lot from that. But I also learned that I needed to have more control over my time and over my income. See, I didn't want someone dictating how much I was worth per hour, and when I can go and eat lunch, and when I can go on a vacation, and when I can or can't be sick. I know someone can relate to that. And 2 years of getting involved in this business, working hard and with persistence, as a 24th birthday gift to myself, I walked into my boss's office one morning and I said, "Hey, I have an eye problem." And he said, "What does that even mean?" I said, "I just don't see myself working for you anymore." And I quit. And as a 24th birthday gift to myself, I walked away from the insurance field, and here's what I'll tell you. At that moment, I was so grateful. The fact that my friend Tiffany didn't prejudge me and put my name on her list and invited me out to a home presentation. And on March 31st of 2012, I became an independent business owner with ACN. And although I didn't hit my 30-day fast start bonus, ACN had a different kind of bonus on the table for me. See, that was the day I met my husband, Mr. Jeff Street. And for those of you that don't know, tomorrow is my husband's 40th birthday. So I like to say I'm God's birthday gift to him. Everyone do me a favor and say happy birthday, Jeff.
Happy birthday, Jeff.
Well, good afternoon, ACN. And guys, I want to talk to you today about the power of putting in that extra 5% that most people will never give. And I want to take everybody back in time 7 years ago this weekend. It was a beautiful Saturday afternoon. I just left the Saturday training. It was 1:55 p.m. and there was a PBR at my team at 3 p.m. that day, an hour from my house. And I had a SWAT team and a presenter going to do that home meeting, and I was going to take the rest of the day off. See, it was the day after my birthday. My brother Justin was in town visiting. I just moved into a home right on the ocean in Newport Beach, California, and we were going to celebrate. And there we were on the back patio, burgers on the grill, Coronas in our hand, board shorts, flip-flops, looking at the ocean thinking, man, life is good. As I'm watching the waves crash, I hear Greg Provenzano's voice in the back of my head saying, there's no traffic jams along the extra mile. It's that extra 5% that most people will never do that separates the champions and the masses. And I looked at my brother and said, I got to leave right now and go do this home meeting. He said, you're crazy. I said, no, I just know if I do what others don't, that I can get what others won't. And I definitely got that day where nobody else will ever get. See, I met my wife that day. And yes, honey, that was the best birthday gift of my life. But not only did I sign up my future wife that day, I signed up one of the greatest leaders in ACN that day. But it didn't stop there. See, some people think the goal is to sign up an IBO. But if you just sign somebody up, they're going to go out and fail. They're not going to be around. So you got to help that person. You got to launch that person. You got to launch your new IBO into action, massive action. And when you want to do it, right away. Because in the beginning, somebody's excited, nervous, and confused, all wrapped up into one. They're fired up. But by day 2, fear creeps in. Doubt creeps in. You got to follow the system and launch a new IBO properly so you can have a business that begins to grow without you. Now, who should launch a new IBO? If you're here today and you have 7 points and you're customer qualified, please stand up. Now, stay standing if you've already had a home meeting. Everybody look around. You can teach somebody how to do what you've already done. You can sit down. And my goal this weekend is for you to take ownership of your ACN business so you can get started to go out and become a dependent business owner. You got started to become an independent business owner. And understand, we're going to bring some stuff back from the backstage, and we're going to go out and teach you how to launch an IBO this weekend. And here's a side note. You can also do this if you're out of state on a Zoom webinar. And when you go to launch an IBO, bring somebody with you. So when you're doing ACN, you can also go out and be teaching ACN.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so first and foremost, you want to make sure you provide a winning environment for people. You want to make sure you set up the launch appointment at the same time of them signing up as an IBO, and make sure that that you have your calendar ready so you can set up future appointments. Now here's what you should have with you, a launch document. ACN has a great launch document available for you in the back office, but here's our Rockstar Organization launch document. Your team probably has one too. Now, make sure you have a laptop with internet access available as well, and make sure you have your calendar ready to go to set up future appointments. So, here we go. Okay, so first things first, I have my launch document. I'm going to go through step by step with Jeff how to properly launch my new IBO. We're going to make sure he's registered and logged into the team, to ACM's website with his IBO number and his password. We're going to make sure we complete his Zoom Energy accreditation test and his badge, and then I'm going to make sure he's registered onto the team website so he can get the latest news, updates of our trainings, of our webinars, and all the announcements within our organization. Now, the next part of this launch is extremely crucial and important for the long-term success of your new IBO. It's identifying their why. So, Jeff, what are you looking to get out of ACN?
I don't know, I think I just want to make more money.
Okay, that's great, but where's that money going to go to?
I don't know, Melissa, I just want to make more money. I don't know, I mean, my wife always wants new shoes and work shoes, and I just got to keep buying her shoes. Maybe that's my why.
I like your wife. Okay, guys, listen. That sounds great and all, just to make money, but we as leaders have to identify what is going to encourage our new IBOs to get out of their comfort zone. Because your comfort zone is your growth zone. So we have to find out what's going to encourage Jeff to get out of that comfort zone. Because when adversities hit and obstacles hit, and they are going to happen, we have to make sure we know how to encourage our new IBO.
You can write everything down if you want to. Be brave enough to write every one of your goals down. But I'm going to tell you something. Life's going to hit you in your mouth, and you got to do a huge favor. Your why has to be greater than that knockdown. And I love it. Buster Douglas got knocked out. Nobody ever got knocked out by Mike Tyson and ever got back up. It was almost a 10 count. He was stumbling. 4, 3, 2, 1. Ding, ding, ding. Saved by the bell. He goes to his corner. The whole world is like, that's it. Once he comes back out, that's it. Mike's going to just hammer him. And exactly that. Mike Tyson came out like, I got him. I got this kid up against the rope. Listen to me, many of you right now, life's got you up against the rope. You can't give up. You can't give in. Listen to me, if it was easy, everybody would do it. And if life's got you backed up, I need you to do what Buster Douglas did. Buster Douglas started fighting back. And the world was shocked. Goliath has been knocked down. What happened? And they went to Buster Douglas and they asked Buster Douglas simply like, what happened? And Buster Douglas said, listen to me, it's real simple. Before my mother died, she told the whole world that I was going to beat Mike Tyson. And 2 days before the fight, my mother died. Buster Douglas had a decision to make. When his mother died, he could die with his mother, or he made a decision, I can wake up and I can live for mom. And he knocked Mike Tyson out simply because his why was greater than that punch. His why was greater than defeat. His why was greater than his trial and his tribulation. And I'm telling you, if you don't know what your why is, and your why isn't strong, you're going to get knocked out every single day.
All right, Jeff, so you ready to write down your real why?
Oh, I got it written down.
Okay, great. So the next part is I'm going to ask Jeff, what is his goal within the next 3 to 5 years of what he wants his residual income to be? The next step after that is helping him become a customer qualified IBO, getting his first 7 customer points. Once he does that, he'll earn his first $100 bonus check, and then we're going to schedule a home meeting. So, next thing I'm going to have is I'm going to have the the bonus document available for him as well. But I'm also going to show him where I found it in the back office. I'm also going to make sure he draws it out for himself so he thoroughly understands what kind of money is on the table for him. Now, we're going to talk about the services. We have a list of all the services that we have that ACN sells. We also want to make sure that we pinpoint some of the services that he has in his own household so he can ACN his life. I'm going to share my own personal testimony and my experiences for what services I got myself customer qualified on.
I think I'm going to get Devin, ID, seal, and electricity.
Okay, great. And then Jeff, also, when you have your home meeting, there's going to be prospects that don't want to get involved with ACN, but we're going to ask them to become a customer too, okay?
Sounds good. And we're going to shift gears, everybody here. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to the next page, and we're going to start talking about the home meeting. See, we're going to schedule the home meeting. We're going to write down the day. We're going to write down the time, and we're going to work on the list of 100 names, and you don't want to prejudge anybody.
Okay, Jeff, here's a list of my 10 best friends.
Your 10 besties? Well, listen, we got to get you out of the friend zone. See, in dating, it's never good to be stuck in the friend zone, and in ACN, it's not good to be stuck there either. See, the friend zone is never going to get you into the end zone. And what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to walk you, listen, through the memory jogger. Who do you know that's the most successful person, the most aggressive, owns a business, stars that one, best work ethic, who loves you, who cares about you, and we're going to get it right on her list.
You know what? These business owners I know, they don't have time for this. They're not going to be interested. They're definitely going to say no.
Melissa, here's what I can tell you. See, a lot of times things look a lot better from the outside looking in than they do from the inside looking out. That's what happened for me. 13 years ago, I owned a bunch of Nextel cell phone stores in Philadelphia when I got started. And my friends thought I was doing great, but the truth was I was dying inside. I was bartending and catering on the side, praying for something, and thank God for me, somebody thought enough of me to put my name on their list. And that's my story. But I can tell you the Ken and Susie Potter story. I can tell you the Jay and Poppy Massey story. I can tell you the Janelle Shannon story. I can tell you the Roberta Hosky story. Business owner, entrepreneur, real estate titan, founder of the Millionaire Mindset Sisterhood. And her team that knew her well and said, too busy, too successful, wouldn't do it. And then Nicole Banks got started and said, Roberta loves multiple streams of income. I'm going to invite her. And not only did Roberta get started, but she hit regional director in 57 days, was the number one regional director in North America this January, was number 2 for event pre-registration, and has leaders like Passion Watts Gaines and and her team's about to explode. And Melissa, how do you think Nicole feels today?
Really good.
Yeah. Now, how do you think the girl that prejudged her feels? See, here's what I found. Fear is temporary, but regret is forever. The worst thing that somebody can say is no. And now that we got our name list down, we got to take her through the script and practice her inviting. I teach people a simple formula. The money, your why, and then the girl or the guy. Now, what does that mean? Do you look at other ways of making money? Here's why I do. Let me tell you about who I'm at. And I practice with them. And I practice with them. Because when preparation meets opportunity is where success lives. And now that Melissa's confident, I'm going to help her make some phone calls. So I can be there with her when she gets her first couple yeses. So I can be there for her when she gets her first couple of no's, because she's going to be nervous.
Oh, Jeff, I don't really want to call this one. I'm really scared. I think they're going to say no for sure.
Melissa, you know, they might. But here's what I found, everybody. Easter's in 2 weekends. And ladies and gentlemen, if Jesus can rise from the dead, can't you and I rise from a no?
Okay, Jeff, I like that one. But I think we should start by getting them as a customer to make sure we can save them money first, and then we'll talk about this.
Melissa, I know exactly how you feel. I felt the same way. As a matter of fact, when I first got started, I went crazy getting customers. I got 20 long-distance customers in my first couple weeks, and my mentor, Patrick Mazer, called me up, and I thought he was going to say, great job. Here's what he said. He goes, what are you doing? You've only shown the business to a few people, and you have 20 customers. You're prejudging people, Jeff. You're missing great people. He said, we got to set up another home meeting for you, because the people that get started there, that's going to build your team, but the no's are going to become your customers. And here's what he said. He said, the way to build a massive customer base is to create distribution. McDonald's doesn't sell the most hamburgers because of the quality of the burger and the skill of the salesperson. They do it because of distribution. And guys, I learned about distribution in the 10th grade. How many of you remember Algebra 1 class? It was the first class I ever struggled with my whole life. Now, what comes after Algebra 1? Algebra 2, and there I am, it's my summer vacation. I walk in one day, and my schedule's on the table. And I'm opening up the envelope so I can see my schedule, and everybody knew the hardest teacher in my school was Mr. Parkinson, and what did he teach? Algebra 2. And I'm opening up, please not Mr. Parkinson, oh, Mr. Parkinson. And I go to school for my first day, and the last class that day just happens to be Algebra 2. And anxiety is running rampant. And then I finally make it to that class, and Mr. Parkinson walks in, and I'm scared. But during the class, my opportunity hit. See, just like you and I, Mr. Parkinson, he was a cause-driven person. And for whatever reason, his son's school was collecting milk caps that year. And as long as they collected enough milk caps, they were going to get a large donation. So my teacher had a great idea. He said, for every 3 milk caps you bring in this year, I'll give you 1 point on a quiz. And that got a light tennis clap. For me, I think it's my opportunity. And I went home and I saw my mom who's sitting right there. I said, Mom, I'm going to pass Algebra 2. And she goes, that's the spirit, honey. I go, Mom, get out your phone book. She goes, why? We have to make a list of everybody. Why? Because we're going to call everybody. We're going to ask them for a favor. We're going to ask them to send out their milk caps for us. She said, what are you talking about? And we put together a route. And on Tuesday, we'd go to one group of neighborhoods. And on Thursday, we would go to the others. And everybody would have their milk caps in a little baggie next to their recycling bins. And we did it for the whole year. And at the end of the year, the number 2 milk cap collector in my class had collected 60 milk caps. The number 1 milk cap collector in my class had collected 3,000. And my grade went from a 58 to a 91.
Without doing algebra.
Half to an A-. And here's what my teacher said. He said, math's all about problem solving. And he solved the biggest problem of any student in my class, how to get an A in my class. He said, if anything, I should give him an A+ because he created a system of distribution.
Wow.
Now imagine if my family, Mom, if we had tried to drink 3,000 gallons of milk ourselves that year. Would you agree you'd be at the funeral? There'd be milk slipping from the grave. Tried to pass Algebra 2. No! See, it's all about distribution. And in ACN, you got to think distribution. Here's how we're going to do that. We're about to schedule a lot of PBR. And we're going to launch our new IBO successfully. And here's the result. You now have a brand new excited IBO. Meetings are scheduled. Guests coming. They signed up and became customer qualified. They know their why. They know their plan of attack. They're empowered. They know they have a mentor that they can trust. And they're on fire. Who's on fire here today? And what I want to do is I want to give you a call of action today. And your call to action is in the next week to go out and sign up 10 customers yourself.
Okay, wait, Jeff. So you're telling me to get 10 customers, but then you just went on with this whole story about milk caps and distribution. So what am I focusing on? Am I getting customers or am I building distribution?
Melissa, here's what you're going to focus on. You're going to focus, and we're going to focus on scheduling a PBR. And so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take action right now. I want everybody to take up your cell phone and raise it up on the air. I want to see your cell phones. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to send a text message to your leader right now. And tell them what day and time are you going to have your home meeting in the next 7 days. See, you're going to be inspired like you've never been inspired this weekend. You're going to be excited. And I want you to step out on the lunch breaks and make phone calls. See, 1 year ago of this convention, Melissa and I had a guest here who stepped outside at lunch and made a phone call to a friend and said, I found it. And that friend today is Regional Director Tanya Randall, who just last week celebrated her 1-year anniversary in ACN because she worked hard with over 300 independent business owners in her team and almost 3,000 customers in her team. But you got to schedule it. So text message your leader right now and schedule your home meeting. And once you've sent the text, stand on up. Send the text and stand up. Melissa, I don't see enough people standing. See, here's what I find. You can die with your excuses, or you can win with your resolve. You can be the victim, or you can become the victor. Melissa, let's help people win this weekend.
Absolutely, ladies and gentlemen. This is your winning season. 2019 is the year of intention. See, the greatest labor-saving device ever invented was tomorrow. See, I don't want you to be that person that says, you know what, let's just wait till my kids get out of school, then I'll have more time, and then I'll do ACN and I'll win. Then the kids get out of school, and you're like, well, I didn't realize I had to drive them everywhere because I have so many activities. So let me just wait till my kids go back into school, and then I'll focus on ACN, and then I'll win. And then the kids go back into school, and you're like, well, it's a winning football season, so I got to go to every game and cheer my kids on. So let's just wait till football season's over, then I'll focus on ACN, and then I'll win. Then football season's over, and guess what? It's the holiday season. And you're like, things are hectic around my household during the holiday season, so let's just wait till holidays are over. Then I'll focus on ACN, and then I'll win. Then the holidays are over, and you're like, you know, the weather has just been terrible. It's been the worst winter we've ever had. Let's just wait till the weather clears up. Then I'll focus on ACN, and then I'll win. Then the weather clears up, and you're like, this is the first chance I'm given to go to the golf course or do some activities myself, so let me just get that out of my system. And you know what? Matter of fact, Easter's going to be around the corner, so let's just wait until Easter clears up. I'll do all that first, and then I'll have time, then I'll focus on ACN, and then I'll win. And then guess what? Your kids are out of school. And you're in the same exact predicament as you were 365 days later. 365 days prior, 2 years prior, 5 years prior, maybe even 10 years prior. And you wonder why things aren't changing for you. Ladies and gentlemen, you have to have a made-up mind. You have to decide that enough is enough. I want you to turn to your neighbor right now and say, enough is enough. Turn back to your other neighbor and say, this is your winning season.
This is your winning season.
ACN family, is it your winning season?
Rockstar team, is it your winning season?
Is it your winning season?
ACN Next Gen is here. We love you guys. We believe in you. Let's make this a winning weekend. Let's make this your winning season and have an amazing, life-changing weekend. Identity theft protection is here, everybody.